I guess we are live, huh? Wow, this is cool. So, welcome, guys, to my very first live stream on the channel. You guys need to bear with me a little bit. This is the first time, so I want to make sure everything is right. Audio, let me know if the audio sounds good. Let me know if everything's coming in solid, just so I know we are good to go. Um, and then we'll just chit chat a little bit about random things, videos, what's going on with you guys. If you have any questions, obviously, uh, put them in the chat so I can read them from there. Let's see here. So what's up, HVAC vlogger? You ready to go, man? Thanks for coming. Fernando Perez, how's it going, man? Where you from, Fernando? Hopefully everything is coming through just fine on your guys' end. Let's see here. Solid, right on. Sick ass quality back. Yeah, man, I've been working on that the past few days. I wasn't quite happy with the old train, banner that I had. Nothing against train, but just the way I was set up, it was blocking the train logo. You couldn't even really see it. So I wanted something a little different. So I've been working on a new setup here. And so far, I'm liking it. Ricky, hey, what's up, man? Aaron from the Philippines. Aaron Alexander, right on, man. What's up from the Philippines? Anthony, hi, what's up, man? Jose, tips to when to start a new business. It's a great question. I would say that would have to do with a lot of different variables. What is your experience in said field? How long have you been doing it? What do you know about that trade or whatever it is that you're wanting to start? So get real familiar with what you're doing and make sure you can do that job properly. And then once you feel comfortable with that, where you can actually offer that service to the community, the next thing is to really learn about business and finances. Those two, business and finances, are going to be the biggest things that makes a business go down. You could be amazing. Let's say, obviously, we're probably talking about heating and air conditioning. You could be excellent at what you do, service, install, whatever, but if you're not good with the money, if you're not good with the business side of things, the business will crash eventually. So really learn, read some books, whatever you got to do. I mean, there's so much resources out there now. So really, figure out the business side of things. So the main thing is you getting comfortable and confident, so that way when you get out there, you can start hustling and grinding and doing what you got to do to start that business up. We can definitely go into more in detail if you want to email me at zach@qualitycomfort.biz. We can go in more detail on that. Let me take a look at this chat over here. So far, we got 48 people coming in. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Hit that like button. It really helps out other people seeing this live Q&A. So let's see here. Fernando, you're from Florida. Right on, man. What part of Florida are you from? You want to work someday HVAC as well? Yeah. Get into it, man. I think it's an awesome trade. It makes a really good living, and it's very rewarding too, being able to fix and repair, install, all of that. So I think it's super rewarding. Let's see here. So not sure how to pronounce Omoraft vlogs. You asked, how did you start your own business? So basically, I've been in the trade for 18 years. '02 is when I got out of high school, and I immediately started working for a construction guy a new construction company. They built new homes, and that's how I started doing that. And then I got into a service company, and anyway, I basically worked up all the different from residential installs to residential service, and then commercial service. Then I got into doing commercial building automation, doing like control work. So anyway, I kind of got a wide range of skills doing that. And then one day I realized that working for myself was probably the most important thing for me. I actually come from a family, I'm the youngest out of 6, and almost all of my siblings are self-employed. My parents were self-employed, so that's kind of like the way we work. We work better for ourselves. So I knew as I got older and a little bit smarter, I guess, I started to realize that if I wanted to really, do something on my own, I needed to make it happen. So, it was very difficult actually, because the last job that I had, I absolutely loved it. It was a perfect job. If something ever happened with this business, I would try to go get that job back. But but yeah, it was it was a tough decision to do that, to start that business on my own, especially with all the fear setting in of how are you going to be consistent and getting work and paying your bills and all that. But that's just something you work through, and you just go out and work your butt off and do the best you can, and things seem to work out. So let's see here. Sorry guys, if I don't get to all your questions, I'm going to do my best here to to answer everybody as well. So Mitchell, you said you love the videos. Please do a review on the CPS Black Max bender. Yeah, for sure, man. I can do that. That's the only bender that I have used, so I can't really compare them to any other brand. But I have no complaints with it whatsoever. I noticed there was another brand. I think it was Hillmore. It seemed to be a buddy of mine has it, and it seemed to be, the head, you could just reverse it really quickly. It was more of a snap action. It didn't have a bolt or a wing bolt that you had to actually loosen and tighten to put the different size, fittings on. But other than that, it works great, man. I definitely recommend it over using a bunch of fittings. I absolutely love it. So let's see here. HVACR videos, how's it going? It's going good, man. How are you? It's cool to be on the other end of this. Now I'm seeing you commenting on my live streams. Do a video on how to start a small HVAC business. Okay. I can do that. Let's see. Yeah, that's again, that's more of just a talking thing. That kind of is different for everybody. Because you got to have a business plan, and everybody's business plan might be a little different on how you want to your business to operate. What your mission is, what your motto is, things like that. So, but I can definitely kind of go into how I did it, and maybe some of the things that I failed at the beginning, and maybe some of the things I still kind of fail at now that I have to continually work on. Especially as a one-man operation, you have to wear all the hats. I mean, you're doing everything. So you have to be good at everything, or delegating at least some of the tasks to other companies, like, whether it be CPA doing your taxes, or, your book work, your daily books, things like that. So let's see here. Stay safe, bro. Love the videos. Adam Neal. Yeah, man. I appreciate that. Staying safe is definitely important, especially these days. It's pretty crazy, man. I was just actually out this morning running a service call, and the customer, they just did not want me in there. This was for a property management company, and the tenant, I should say, did not want me in there, but they also wanted their AC fixed. So it was tricky, man. These days are very strange. It's very difficult to do the job and feel like you're doing it safely, because dealing with this virus, it's so unknown that, at least for me, I don't feel 100% comfortable that I'm taking all the right measures and doing it right. Like, I'm wearing gloves, I'm doing things, but I feel like as soon as you touch anything, that glove is contaminated. So then whatever you touch, all your tools, and you got to go through and to clean all your tools. So other than that, the general safety things obviously are pretty important. So love your vids from Atlanta. Mark Mathis. Right on, man. I appreciate it. That's not too far. Atlanta is only about 3.5 hours or so away. Not too far at all. Let's see here. Question: what was your experience before you made your own company? I think I may have answered that already because I'm pretty at the beginning of all the comments here. Hopefully, I answered that question, HVAC vlogger. If I didn't, let me know. Let's see here. Heading into the air conditioning season with the R22 phase out and the virus, do you think we will be busier or slower due to the economy? That's a great question. I think that service-wise, even with this virus situation going on, service, once it starts getting warm, I'm not sure where you are, where you're located. Who said that? Eric Baker. Depending on where you are in the climates. So in Tennessee, it's not really that warm yet. Today was like around 80 degrees, but it hasn't been that warm. And the humidity's been pretty, pretty low as well. So I think once it gets hot outside and that demand really starts coming in, regardless of this virus, people are going to want to be comfortable, especially since they're in their homes all day. And they can't leave as much as they normally would. Now, as far as getting into some of the extra things that they probably would invest in if they weren't having this type of situation, those things might start to slow down a little bit. But like for me, for instance, I've had several customers basically postpone some of their smaller projects, but they weren't emergency calls. They were just adding a mini split or things like that. So I think once it starts to get warm, the virus is not really going to have a problem with that. At least from my understanding. I think it's going to be pretty busy. And as far as the R22 phase out goes, honestly, I don't think we're going to be hit with that so soon. I mean, they've been phasing that out for a long time. So even though it's still around, I think there's still plenty of surplus going around. So I think it's going to be pretty much the same thing as far as that goes. Matt Florence asked me, what do you use for lead generation? Currently, I don't use anything, actually. When I first started out, I tried some of those companies. I can't remember the name of it, where they basically, they charge you for each lead. Now, Home Advisor, that was one that I tried, and that was horrible. I tried doing like the Google things and stuff like that. So as a one-man operation and having the experience that I have out in the field with the customers and the community, I am solely word of mouth now. So I don't have to do any advertising because it doesn't take a whole lot of work for me to stay busy anyway. So that being said, I'm constantly, talking to everybody, always letting everybody know what I do, whether if I'm going to a coffee shop or, a restaurant or, if it's a local shop, I'm always telling people, giving my cards out. So that's kind of the way that I network. I don't do any online lead generation or anything like that. I am set up through April Air as one of their, providers, I guess, or installers or contractors. So, and that naturally puts me on their website. So if anybody is just generally looking up for their products, I will get a lead from that. But other than that, I'm not set up on anything else. And, that might change because, this year, well, before the whole virus situation happened, I planned on hiring a full-time service technician. So I was going to probably start doing something as far as advertising goes, but we'll see. I don't know how that's going to all work out, but time will tell. George Washington says, keep up the great videos, man. I appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys watching, man. It's so cool to, do something that I'm passionate about, and then you guys give me some feedback, whether it's, hey, that music is too loud, or, this is pretty cool, whatever it is, I can take it. So I really appreciate you guys giving me the feedback, because all I want to do is make better content for you guys. So again, thanks so much, George. I appreciate you guys watching. Tennessee Love, let's see here. Okay, so this is S1 Richmond. Says, on an annual basis, after accounting and all expenditures, do you end up making more money working solo, or would you make more money working as a foreman for the best paying shop in your area? That is an excellent question, because I actually talk about this quite often. I did not get into being self-employed because I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to be self-employed because I wanted to call the shots. I wanted to do the jobs that I wanted to do and do them the way I wanted to do them. So that being said, if you look at it by an hourly basis, I probably made more money where I was before, and I had better benefits and all that. And it was just a 7 to 3:30 job. And but that being said, I absolutely love being self-employed. I work way more than I did before, but again, I'm being able to do everything and express myself the way I like to, do the jobs that I like to. And I'm hoping that's kind of, coming through in my videos. Normally, if you're working for other companies, they wouldn't want you to probably take that amount of time to do those jobs. Definitely probably not film and make the job last that much longer, or using the materials that I use, or doing the job the way I do it, because they're more about, making that dollar at the end of the day. So they want to hit those margins. That's what they care about the most. To me, I would rather take a little bit more time and invest into the job itself, and then hopefully my customers see that, and then I can charge accordingly for that. So I guess to answer your question, I think I may have already, but to clarify, I'm pretty sure I made more money before. But again, I don't have to deal with all the people that I had to deal with before, bosses, things like that. So, it's pretty neat to be self-employed, to be honest with you. If you don't mind working really hard and working longer hours, or, even when you get off of work, say, 5 or 6 o'clock, you're done running calls. Well, you're not done. You still have, invoices to fill out. You have estimates to send out. You've got, receipts to input into QuickBooks or whatever software you're using, things like that. And your mind is never stopping. It's like always going on how you can get the next job, or how you can, possibly do one job while you're doing another, and, scheduling and all that. So you really got to be on top of it. So it's a good question, man. I appreciate you asking that. That's actually kind of a big deal, for a lot of people, because they go into starting their own company and they're only looking at the money side of things. And if you're going to go into it for that, personally, I think that you're going to probably run into some problems, because you're going to be thinking you're working too much versus maybe what you have at your last job. So good question, man. Good question. Let's see here. Squishy Chimp. Right on, dude. That's a cool name. Hello from Georgia. I would love your advice. I'm starting as a fresh tech this week, and I'm getting my first van. Any tips? A fresh tech. So I'm assuming you have no history in installation as well, and you're going into HVAC straight out of school, or even just green as can be. I would hope that the company putting you into a van, you have some background, maybe it's schooling or something. But any advice? I would basically say, take your time, and realize that a lot of what you're going to be dealing with when you first start out is going to be mental battles within yourself. As a service tech, man, it really shows a lot about who you are. Internally in your mindset and how you think. A lot of people like to get very frustrated and like want to fix things really quickly. And, like HVAC, our videos, he preaches, look at the whole picture. Now that's perfect because a lot of times you get fixated on one little thing. You think you know what's going on, or when you first get there, or before you even get there sometimes. And that's a game that you probably shouldn't play with yourself. Be very open-minded and just take it slow, man. And get as much training as you possibly can, whether it's with your company itself. Bug your supervisor, bug your boss, foreman, whoever it is, and let them know that you're willing to learn, and you're wanting to do it not only during work hours but after hours as well. So you can go online. You got YouTube, obviously. There's so many resources. There's books, podcasts. So just, I've got 18 years of experience, and every single day I get in my truck, I don't listen to the radio most of the time. I'm listening to podcasts, trying to learn more about this field because honestly, I don't really know hardly anything. To be honest with you, the more I listen to others that have, that do know more than me, I start to realize more and more how much I don't know, even though I've been in the field for so long, to be honest with you. So you never stop learning, man. I always have a motto that you want to keep a beginner's mindset, no matter how much experience you have, because that keeping that mindset doesn't close you off to what the scenario truly is. It's almost like not judging the situation or the application before you even really dig into it. So hopefully that answered your question. I wasn't just rambling on for too long on that particular one. But again, if you guys have more, if I didn't really get to the question, or if I didn't answer it fully to your liking, you can always email me, and I'll put that into the description as well, so you can see that. Says Jose, says, what percentage is a good profit per change out? I'm not really going to go into dollar amounts, because that's a very touchy subject, and I think that would be best to figure out for yourself as far as what you think you're worth, how much value you're bringing to the table, what your market is, what your overhead is, all of that. Take all that into consideration. Now, just a general rule of thumb, just being a business itself, try to shoot for 20-25% net profits. That's to me, if you're in that high, the 20s, you're doing really, really good. Most companies, from what I've heard, even the bigger companies, they're down 3 to 5% on their net profits. So just dig into all that. Look at your materials, look at your overheads, your insurances, your car, your truck, your gas, all of that. And then look at the market. How can you fit in there? Because honestly, if you're a one-man band and you are working close by to a bigger, company that's got maybe 100 employees or whatever it is, you should not be anywhere close to their pricing. At least that's my perspective, because you just don't have their overhead, and they have to be up there to get that same margin. So just something to think about. Adam Neal, best wishes from Scotland. Right on, man. Scotland, that's cool. That's some good golfing out there, right? Isn't Scotland the golf nation? Let's see. I'm gonna try to go down through these comments a little bit quicker if I can. Hopefully I'm getting to everybody. Christopher Edwards asks, how long did you work for someone else before you went out on your own? I think I may have covered this, but I worked for 3 different companies in 18 years. And that's not including that general contractor that I worked for at the very beginning. That was only like 6 months before I got into an actual service company. So yeah, 18 years. I'm sorry. No, I've been in the field for 18 years. And I started my business 6 years ago. So 12 years. I was working for other companies for 12 years. So let's see. So Gilberto Martinez asks, any software programs you use to keep track of your jobs? Because it's only me, it's pretty easy. So I just use QuickBooks. I don't use any other program, any other software. I do the online version of QuickBooks, and it pretty much takes care of everything. So all of the accounting, invoices, receipts, and then just as far as tracking jobs, any notes, I can put pictures in there. I can put in, so, what I'm starting to do now that I'm using MeasureQuick on a startup, on a commissioning of a new equipment, I'll actually do a printout of the PDF and I'll put that in the notes of that particular invoice. So that's how I keep track of all my customers. It's pretty simple. Anthony Del Grego asks, any slow, basically, have I slowed down because of the virus? Absolutely, absolutely. I would say probably a 70% commercial to 30% residential currently. And so all of that commercial side has basically shut down. I'm like right in the middle of a bakery project where I'm installing 3 different mini splits, doing some exhaust relocation, quite a bit of work on doing maintenance there as well, taking over the maintenance contract. And that was a big project actually that I was working on, and they basically postponed it for at least a few weeks. I'm sure it's going to be longer than that, but yeah, so that's slowed me down quite a bit. Like I said earlier, I've had some residential projects like mini split installs. They basically said, we're going to hold off until all this clears up. Same thing with another residential. I had 2 package units and a water heater to change out. That was going to be a pretty good job. He pretty much put that on pause. So right now, service work is the only thing that's really keeping me somewhat busy. And again, being one person, it doesn't take a whole lot to keep me busy, but I don't usually like to run a bunch of calls in one day, being one man, because I do need to have enough time to go talk to customers and do other things as well, which there really hasn't been a whole lot of that lately. But yeah, I mean, if I'm running a few service calls a day, typically that pretty much fills up my time, because I live about 30 minutes or so away from where the majority of my service work is. And so it kind of fills up my day driving around and doing all that. So let's see here. HVAC with, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. It's ZSA. You might have to help me on that. Guys, I'm horrible at pronouncing names, so you're going to have to forgive me on that for sure. He says, can you do a service truck tour? Yes, I can actually. I plan on doing that. I wanted to fine tune a few things in my truck first. I was actually going to do a truck and trailer tour. So basically, my truck is set up for service, and then my trailer that I pull, enclosed trailer, is set up for installs. So I've been kind of really working on that, adding new boxes and more organization, things like that. I want to fine tune all that before I make a video on that, but for sure, I'm going to be doing that. Where did you buy your shirt, or do you make it yourself? Adam Neal. So this shirt here, HVAC Tactical, is not my brand. Ben Poole's brand, actually, on Instagram, so you should go check him out. He's out of Texas. He has phenomenal products as far as the brand goes, man. He's got the hats, the shirts, koozies and stickers and all kind of cool stuff, man. So to me, I have a lot of pride in what I do, so I want to represent that even when I'm not working. So when I'm just, going to coffee shops or hanging out with the family or doing whatever, I'm wearing these shirts as well. So anyway, go check him out, man. He's on Instagram at HVAC Tactical, and then his website is hvactactical.com. So pretty cool merch there. I definitely recommend it. Let's see. Fernando Perez says, oh, so you've got the Hillmore. Okay, you love it. Yeah, again, I haven't tested it myself, but I've worked alongside with someone who had it as far as the tubing bender, the Hillmore tubing bender. And it seemed probably better than the one that I have, only because of the fittings that you have to remove, you don't have to twist in a like a screw or a bolt to get them in and out. They just kind of pop in and out, and you can turn it over, and it's pretty quick. Other than that, the one that I have is pretty cool too. So, be safe, Zach. Leo here from Florida Panhandle. What a year to start a company with this virus. Any tips on getting leads as a new company owner? Yeah, man, for sure. Being safe, that's really priority right now for not only yourself, your family, but everyone else. And you're from Florida, the Panhandle. That's cool. So what, like Destin area, or my wife is actually from Destin, so we go to the Panhandle quite often, probably 2 or 3 times a year. So to answer your question, in this, I mean, it is tough. Obviously, it's tough to start any business when you don't have the recognition. You're not out there quite as much. People don't know about you. But that is your number one goal, is you got to let everybody know who you are and what you do. And not only that, but start a social media of some sort. You don't have to do all of them. You can just do one, like Instagram or Facebook, and start documenting the quality of work that you do. So that way you can actually show people and you can direct them where to go. Instead of just talking about what you do, you can also show them. I think visuals are pretty cool. But yeah, getting out there and just pushing your brand, dude. Everyone must know who you are. So everywhere you go, no matter, always have your business cards with you. Make sure they're high quality business cards. They're not something really flimsy. Every little detail represents your brand. So I would really work on that and just get it out there. Talk to everybody. You got to have that grind mentality, because no one else is doing it for you. So if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. Let's see. I should probably be wearing my glasses, man. I don't normally wear glasses except for when I'm looking at a computer screen. So Fernando Perez says, what's your favorite meter? Honestly, I probably not the best person to ask that. I don't go through a whole lot of meters. I've had my field piece. I think it's the SC460 model. And then I also have a UEI that's more a little bit of a cheaper, in my opinion. I'm not sure what the model is on that, but they both work fine. I mean, one thing I like about the field piece is that you actually, on both of them, now that I think about it, it'll show the amperage and the voltage at the same time. I think that's kind of cool. So you could be checking the amp draw of a motor and then also checking the voltage at the same time. So, but yeah, again, man, I'm probably not the best person to be asking about meters, but field piece, I think, makes good stuff. Fluke, obviously, makes good stuff too. I tend to stick with field piece just because I'm kind of going down that path with their products and all the wireless stuff, being able to talk to Measure Quick. So to me, I'm sure there's other companies doing the same thing, but I've already got a bunch of field piece stuff, so I kind of just stick with them. Let's see. Hello from Brazil. Antonio L. Right on, man. That's so cool seeing you, you guys from all over the world. This is a really cool platform to be able to reach out to you guys as well as you reach out to me. I think it's pretty cool. Let's see here. So yeah, again, this is my first live Q&A, guys. So if I didn't already say it, go ahead and all your questions, put them in caps lock. So that way I know you're talking to me. And that way I can just easily just skim through it and see what are the questions, pertaining to me instead of talking to someone else. Audio is messed up. Is it? Anthony D says the audio is messed up. Is that better? Or is it kind of clipping? Huh. Yeah, that's strange. I don't know. Is that any better? You guys can let me know what's going on with the audio there. Again, there's going to be a lot of little tweaks doing these live streams. It's just all new ground for me, so I'm trying to get it all figured out. All right, let's see here. George Washington asks, do you work with any home warranty companies? I do not. Um, I've heard nothing but a lot of bad things about working with home warranty companies, so I've never really pursued that. So yeah, I don't do any of that. Let's see here. So Alicia, Alicio Valley? I probably butchered your name, um, but this person says, how many service calls do you think is good to do in one day? That's a cool question. I think to do a proper job, you really should not be putting too many calls on your plate in one day. Depending on like maybe where they are, if they're really close to each other or if they're at the same location, and kind of what they all entail. But I would say 2 to 3. I mean, if you can do a good, solid, thorough job on each service call and really look at everything, first of all, you could probably find more problems than just the original one that they're calling you on. So yeah, a couple, man, 2 to 3. Take your time and do a good, thorough job. You will enjoy your life a whole lot more if you don't spread yourself thin, running all over the place, and trying to make more money if that's what you're really trying to do. But in the end, again, if you just do a better job at each call, you could probably still make the same amount of money, maybe even more. Who knows? All right. Turn the volume back up, please. All right. I'll turn it up just a little bit more. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I'm getting the feedback on my side of the audio. It sounds perfect. So I don't understand what's going on there. Let's see here. Homerio, um, Homerio Mojeka Vlogs. Again, sorry for butchering the names, guys. Is it easy to install a unit? Well, that's a very vague question. Are you referring to like a package unit by myself, or just in general installing equipment? That is, I could say yes, it's easy and it's hard. It just depends on the application. Some are super simple. They're right by the truck or van or whatever, and and it's just easy. Some of them are going to be the worst ever. So it's up and down, man. It could be either or. Kelly Kyler said more volume. Hopefully that's better now. Audio is too low now. I'm going to put my headphones back on so maybe I can monitor it a little bit better. Epson didn't kill himself. Are you sure? Oh man, definitely not getting into that kind of stuff. All right, let's go down here. Audio malfunction was only temporary. Okay, cool. Not sure what that was, but I'm glad it was temporary. Audio was just a temp glitch. Right on. I'm glad that it wasn't anything too big. Let me see. I'm gonna go back up here a little bit. Santa Rosa Beach. Okay. I think that I asked that person where they're from. Yeah, so that's extremely close to where my wife is from and where we go. We go to Navarre. So I'm pretty sure that's like, 30 minutes away? Denise West said, are you married? I am. Let's see here. Jacob Lowe says, the grind has begun down here in Texas. Hello from Houston. So it's back up, Jacob. Everything's going good. You guys are getting busy again. That's good to hear. That was going to be one of my questions for you guys. Where, in your location, how are things? I've been hearing a lot about people getting laid off, but I've been hearing a lot about people staying busy too. So I don't know if it's just, the market of where you are or what it is, or maybe the company that you work for. But yeah, I'd like to know, if you guys are staying busy Is it service work that's keeping you busy? Is it installs? What's going on in your world? Fernando Perez says, "What thermostat have you been selling?" Um, Honestly, I'm not like a. I don't have one particular thermostat that I sell over anything. I used to do nothing but Honeywell. I used to love the Focus 5000. I mean, the 5000 and the 8000. That's all I ever installed. And since I started installing more April Air products, they actually sent me a bunch of little battery covers that has my business name and phone number on it. So I started installing their thermostats as well. Um, I think they're, what is it, like the 8920W? It's the big, huge black color screen that does, three wire system that can do all the indoor air quality products. I like that one. I think it's pretty cool. It's expensive, but I think it's pretty cool. A lot of the times, to be honest with you, I get customers, because there's so many thermostats out there, and they can just go to Lowe's or Home Depot or Amazon, or they want the Nest because it works with their certain apps or whatever it is. So a lot of the times, I leave it up to the customer if they have a preference, because typically they do, because that's their interaction, that's their interface. So they want something that's their style. I try to steer them away from Nest as much as possible. I do not like those. At least my experience with them, it hasn't been any fun. HVACR videos said the restaurant repair economy has crashed in SoCali. We are dead. Man, that sucks. Yeah, that especially when that's your bread and butter. Like I was talking about earlier, commercial has been a lot of what I do recently. And when that just pretty much just came to a halt, I I was like, whoa, man, like, normally my phone is ringing every day and, stuff is going on. I'm busy. And then when this happened, it just, bam, it just almost stopped completely. Again, calls would trickle in here and there, but it's all been residential. So anyway, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope everything starts to pick up for you guys and, get back to doing your thing. Let's see. Brad Newman says, "Do you have plans on employing staff in the future, or are you happy just working on your own?" So I covered that a little bit earlier, I believe. I really love working by myself, actually, but I'm starting to realize that it's not very efficient. To be able to get jobs done in a timely manner, you got to have help. I mean, I've been very smart about doing jobs by myself, whether it's an install. Typically, those are the jobs that I would need help on anyway, not necessarily service work. But, and again, I don't really take on projects that I know that I can't handle. So I do filter out the jobs that I know I won't be able to do. Um, Now, that being said, I do have other contractors that are same situation. They're one man operations, or they may have like one employee or something like that. I can reach out to them and get some help when I need to. If it's a job that I don't want to give up, maybe it's for a customer that I normally do work for, I don't want to just give up that work. I want to make sure they get taken care of. So I'll bring in some help, some subcontractors to do that. But normally I do not like to do that because it's a headache more than anything. So this year my plan was to hire one service technician to start out with, and then as that kind of started rolling smoothly and things were going okay, then I was going to go into hiring an install crew. So I'd love to have two guys as the install crew where they work together, and then one service tech, and then it would be me as well doing whatever it is that I need to do. So, but we'll see how that goes. I've got some people that I've been talking to over the last 6 months or so. So we'll see how that plays out. James Taylor asked, "Was HVAC something you've always wanted to do before you started? Also, did you go to HVAC school?" So the first question would be, is it something I always knew I wanted to do? No. So I grew up in a family that was construction, pretty much. My dad was a general contractor, but he primarily focused on painting. So I grew up painting houses, trim work, cabinetry, things like that. So I was in the construction field pretty much my entire life. And I had no idea I was going to be getting into heating and air conditioning. It's just something that really just fell in my lap. Once I got out of once I got out of high school, I was looking for something that was, a good job, something that was going to pay me well, a trade that I can learn. And a buddy of mine was working for this general contractor, and he was leaving. He was moving out of state. So he said, hey, do you want to take my spot? Basically, you would be doing all the new construction, HVAC, along with a punch list and a bunch of other stuff. I was like, cool, right on. And that's how I started. I got into the HVAC. And right away, I learned that I liked the trade, and I knew that I needed to get with an actual HVAC company to where I could start really learning, the proper techniques, get better exposure, all of that. So as far as school goes, no, I didn't go to school or to a trade school or anything like that. I learned, like a lot of people do, getting thrown out to the wolves and just figuring it out. So that can be a cool way to learn, but I don't really necessarily think it's the best way to learn. I wouldn't do that. As far as an employer goes, I would not hire someone that was like me and put them in a truck and say, go run service calls. I just wouldn't do it. To me, it's not a good business plan, but internet sales are DIY is becoming popular. So Superior Comfort Heating and Air says HVAC internet sales are up. DIY is becoming popular. Yeah, I can see that, especially now with social media and YouTube videos, and not only that, but ductless systems. I mean, you can get ductless systems where you don't even need to pull a vacuum on the lines; they come pre-charged. You basically just tighten the nuts down, and they pierce the lines, and you're good to go. So that's probably one of the biggest ones is ductless systems that are DIY more than anything. But yeah, that's always been a pet peeve of mine, where customers can say, "Oh, I can get a Goodman, from Florida or online or wherever they come from," and I shy away from that big time. I do not recommend that stuff. I always just tell them, "Hey, man, if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but you're dealing with the wrong person." Christopher Shea asks, any advice you wish you had when you first started? Just got my study material for my license. Are you referring to starting your own business, or are you referring to starting just in the HVAC trade period? I'm assuming you just got the material for your license. Now, I don't know if that's like a state license you're referring to or like an EPA. The advice would be completely different, basically, depending on which one you're asking. So if you can re-ask that, I'll get to it. Excuse me. So yeah, Kev the realist says, I just graduated from HVAC. What's good advice to give to a person like me that's just starting? Again, I think I covered this a little bit earlier, but man, a lot of it's going to be work ethic, I think, more than anything, because in this field, you never know it all anyway. So you can't go only off of, what your experience is and how much you know. I've worked with tons of people that have tons of experience, but honestly, they're not very good technicians or installers or whatever it is that they're doing, because their work ethic sucks. They don't give 110%. I'm hourly, so I'm just going to do whatever. And to me, that's not a good way to do things. So my thing would be to go into whoever you're working with, and you don't have to be too aggressive about it, but you can express to them that you are there to learn as much as you possibly can, and you want to hustle about it, and you want to know hey, what can I do? Become the yes man. Can I go help this guy? Can I go do this? Can I go do that? Just and they'll know that. I mean, if you have that type of energy anyway, your boss is going to know that. They're going to know, hey, this dude, let's put him over here because he has that energy, that go getter. To me, that's number one. As far as the technical things, that will come with time. You can read the books, you can listen to the podcasts, you can watch the YouTube videos. You get the experience in the field as well. That all comes with time. So be patient with that. Just put your head down, man, and just do the best you can. Whatever your best is, do that every single day and try to be better every day. Never stop doing that, no matter where you are. And if you do that, I think you'll be awesome, man, at whatever you're doing, whatever you want to do. And opportunities will open up for you. That's how I was. I mean, when I was young, again, I was straight out of high school. So, 18, 19, starting out, I was gung-ho. As soon as I got into the service side of things, I was taking everybody's on calls. They were paying me to take their weekends or the whole week, whatever they wanted to pay me for. I was very, very gung-ho. I wanted to get into commercial right away, and then I wanted to get into doing control work right away. Like I never settled. I was always pushing the boundaries, always pushing. In a good way, though. You don't want to be disrespectful about it. You always want to be, you always want to be happy with and grateful for where you are and what you have and what that particular company is offering you. But you always want to be pushing those boundaries for sure. Let's see. I'm not really seeing a whole lot in caps. That's kind of how I'm weeding through everything to see if you guys are actually talking to me or not. But oh, let's see. Alexander, your last name I will not try to pronounce, man. That is very difficult for me. Slotensen, that's a gnarly name, dude. Is that a blue screen or green screen behind you? Neither. This is my room. Those are pictures on the wall. That's a Milwaukee box back there. This is just my current setup, man. Judging by that comment, I'm thinking that you like it. You think it's cool? I don't know. I'm liking it. What do you guys think? I just picked up these two photos here off of Etsy. They're pretty cool. So they're like the original blueprints of mechanical. One of them is a blower, and one of them is like an air handler. So it's kind of like the blueprints, the breakdown. Looks kind of cool. I like it. Homero? I hope I'm saying that right. Have you ever taken your EPA? If so, what year? Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, that's like one of the things that you got to do right away at least when you're in service. Most companies, you can be under like their umbrella as far as having the EPA certification, but you shouldn't do that. You should have your own certification. So yeah, I got mine like within the first year or so. So when I first got into service, so back in like 03, 04 maybe. Let's see, what kind of HVAC Game Proper says, what kind of drone do you use? I use the DJI, the Air. So it's a pretty badass little drone, super, super small. And the quality of it is just fine. I mean, I was going to go up to like the Mavic The Mavic Pro 2, I think is what it's called, one of the newer versions. That's a really good drone, but it's overkill for what I need it for. I like to get 3 to 5 second little clips here and there, so I don't need anything too crazy. But it's a good drone. Definitely happy with it. What's up? Let's see here. HVCR North says cool shop. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Still tweaking it, a few little things here and there, but yeah, I'm enjoying the progress on it so far. I really want to get in some vintage mechanical tools or like HVAC tools. So I'm kind of scouting eBay, looking around. Right now, it's probably not the best time to be, doing that because shipping. People don't want to be shipping stuff all over the world right now. But at some point, I'm going to start getting in some cool stuff like that. HVAC with Brandon says, "Where do you get your shirts from?" HVACtactical.com. Go check it out, man. He's also on Instagram, at HVAC Tactical. He's out of Texas. The guy's name is Ben. Cool stuff, cool shirts, cool hats. Definitely recommend them. Let's see here. Mason asks, can you share how you price service calls? So the way that I like to price my service calls is I do not use flat rate. And I know probably a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, you should, but that's not my style. I don't think every job is the same, even though the repair might be the same, but the application might be different. It might be super easy to get to, or it might be super difficult to get to. So what I do is I just assess the situation first. If it's a blower motor or condenser motor or whatever it is, I'll figure out what the problem is, and then I'll judge it and say, well, how many hours is this going to take me? Do I need to go get the part? Do I already have it with me? All of those things. And then I add on my percentage for overhead, and I just make sure that I'm falling within that net profit that I'd like to be in. And that's pretty much how I do it. So it's just a mathematical equation at some point, basically. Once you figure out what your overhead, your percentage is, you can just, add all your materials, mark them up to whatever percent you want to do that at. Figure out what hourly rate you want to be at, and then add your overhead percentage, and, go from there, man. A lot of it's going to be trial and error and what works best for you and what you're comfortable in doing. So money, again, can be a very touchy situation for people. So main thing is, you got to feel comfortable and confident with what you're providing to the customer. So, if you feel like you're adding tons of value, you can charge for that. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about. You show up on time, all that stuff. It's just, it all matters to me. Let's see. Fernando Perez says, what do you do when you're not working? I'm always working. At least that's what I tell my wife. Now, hobby-wise, it used to be photography and videos, but now that I'm doing that as part of my job, if you will, I don't really do it much anymore. Like I used to do a lot of family photo shoots with my wife and my kids. It's still something I really enjoy doing. I don't find myself doing it as much anymore. I guess because I don't have tons of extra time to do it. But honestly, these days it's just spending time with the family, man. That's what it's all about. I've got 3 kids. My youngest is 17 months, so this is a super cool time as far as the age of the kids. I got a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 17-month-old. So they are tons of fun. They keep me on my toes for sure. So getting outside, playing with them, trying to do projects with them. I used to do a lot of camping and hiking, very outdoorsy, but man, I haven't been able to do it. It seems like in forever. I was going to take advantage of this time with my kids being out of school and sorry if I'm coughing too loud in the mic, but I was going to take advantage of that time, but you know, all the state parks are closed. I was going to do like a little 3-day camping trip with my son, but you know, so we're just going to go do some local hiking, do some stuff where there's not, you know, we know a lot of trails where there's typically not a whole lot of people. It's a little bit more backcountry, if you will. So, but yeah, man, outdoorsy stuff, tinkering, working on stuff in the shop, um, you know, woodworking, metalwork, stuff like that. Anything that I can create, I'm having a good time. Let's see what's up here. SN491 asks, do you prefer Daikin or Train? Train. I don't install Daikin at all, so I would not be the best person. I mean, I don't, my opinion, I don't think Daikin is a very good quality piece of equipment, but again, I don't really deal with them that often, so I really wouldn't know for sure on that, but I like Train, man. I think Train is good stuff. Yeah, HVAC uncensored. I mean, that's a good point. You know, flat rate is more important when you're bigger, um, because obviously you got the employee out there. You don't want them dictating what your margins are by saying, well, I think it's going to take me this, and they figure out what they're going to charge the customer. It's a lot easier, more streamlined if it's in a book and you just pull it out. Because, you know, those books, if I'm not mistaken, they're priced out to where it's like the worst case scenario. That's just the way it's going to be every single time. So, yeah, it definitely makes sense. And that's how it was when I worked for other companies. I mean, it's pretty common. But, you know, for me and my business model, um, that didn't work for me. So, yeah, same. HVAC Uncensored. Your channel is awesome. Really appreciate your videos. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. I've been actually listening to your podcasts just recently, man. I'm getting more and more into listening to podcasts in the truck. So, yeah, I was listening to you the other day, man. I really enjoyed it. It was actually a very good podcast for me, um, being self-employed. And they wanted me to get out there and start that website. Man, I don't have a website currently, so that put a fire underneath my butt to get that going, because I know I'm going to need that at some point. So, Miguel Rodriguez. Let's see here, where to go. Miguel Rodriguez says, what is your favorite thing about HVAC, and any advice to new HVAC tech? What is my favorite thing about HVAC? I would say being hands-on, man, and being able to think outside the box, have a critical thinking, and breaking things down and fixing a problem. Like, I don't know, to me, it's so rewarding. You walk up to a situation, something's not working right, and you just go into the motions, going through the steps and figuring out what it is, especially if it's like a pain in the ass and it's something that's difficult. But when you stay calm and you just work through the steps and you work through it and you finally figure it out and you get it working right, to me, that is the most rewarding. Second to that would be installs. The way I look at installs, they're like almost like an art form for me. I want to be able to look back at it and be like, that's a painting basically that I drew. That's the way I want to look at my installs. So hopefully that kind of comes through a little bit as well. I don't know if this audio is still having problems or not, but it sounds good to me, guys. I don't know what's up. Homer, there you go, Homer. That's very easy to say, man. I appreciate that. Homer says, how did you get yourself known on YouTube? Just making the videos, man. I don't know. It just happened. I started making what I think is, good content, good quality content. I mean, that's my goal, is to, you know, raise the production value for you guys to where you actually enjoy watching the video. Like, my goal at the end of the day is for you guys to be so in tune with the video where you watch it all the way through. Like, I want to be able to capture your attention and you actually like the video all the way through. So that's my goal. Every video, so I try to get creative with it. The drone shots and different camera angles, all of that. So, and I think doing that has created a situation where people just noticed it a lot faster, and it really blew up, man. I was very, very shocked, to be honest with you. I had zero expectation of kind of how it was going to go, and time frame and all that. But yeah, to me, it absolutely blew up, and it's done nothing but put a huge smile on my face. That's for sure. You guys have been awesome. Loose mic cable. Yeah, maybe. I don't want to sit here and tinker with it, but see, I guess I'll need to pick someone's brain on how to test all this stuff. I mean, I tested it before I came on for like 30 minutes. Everything was perfect, so. Maybe I'll try a different mic setup next time or something. I don't know, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, so, again, questions in caps so I can easily see them. I'm going to ask you guys a question. What do you guys think about this whole pandemic? Do you think it's something that's being, you know, exploded unnecessarily, by media or fear, whatever the reason, or do you think it's justified? Do you think this is some pretty crazy stuff going on that we all need to be very, what was I going to say? That you really need to make sure that you're following the guidelines and taking it seriously. Basically, I see a lot of mixed opinions online, and I'm just curious on what's going on in you guys' head, especially being out there. We are considered essential, right? We're still out there. We're still running calls. We're still doing work, even though a lot of areas are saying stay home, and we still got to be out there. So, how does that make you guys feel? Are you are you happy about that in a way where you can still get out and work? If I feel like I don't need to wear these. Are you guys happy about that, going out and working? Are you a little bit nervous about it? What's going on in your head? See, audio is good now. I don't understand what's going on there. Could be just YouTube. Man, we've been on here for an hour and 7 minutes, guys. Jeez. This time flies by. You guys are just making me have a lot of fun. Oh, man. Danny L says, I think it's definitely going to get worse. Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I do not see this going back to normal in the next couple weeks, man. I see it being months, but I don't know. We'll see. For the sake of everybody and their families and getting paid, I'm not sure how that's working for everybody. People who get laid off, I'm assuming they are still getting a paycheck through unemployment, but I don't know how that works, to be honest with you, and if they're still having their medical care and all that. So, Justice means asks, how many companies did you work for before starting your own? I believe it was three companies. Again, not including where I worked for only 6 months for the general contractor. So 3 service companies. Let's see. Sterling Archer says, you look like Chris's younger brother. Are you referring to HVAC videos? Man, because if you are, that would be one hell of a brother to have. That's for sure. The audio is working better now. Okay, so that's good. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know. Fernando Perez says, we do need to be aware, but the media is blowing it out of proportion. Yeah, for sure, man. I see that. I mean, we don't need to be just taking this stuff lightly, but I believe, the media, it's their job, right? I mean, they want that drama to be high because it gets their ratings up. So, um, you got to take everything with, a grain of salt, but also don't overlook it as well. So, yeah, I guess let me ask you guys a question as well. When it comes to, doing residential or commercial work, what are you guys seeing right now? Like I explained earlier, commercial workers pretty much came to a halt. Are you guys dealing with the same problems? Are you doing residential as well? Are you commercial guys having to do residential because the work's not there, or vice versa? What's going on with you guys out there? Mason says, can you talk about your craziest service call experience? Hmm. I would say the first thing that comes to mind would be I was in a crawl space, and a very, very tight crawl space. One where you're literally on your back just shimmying. I had to get to a supply vent that had came loose. So I was going to go shimmy my way back there to get it all fixed up. Anyway, I am a claustrophobic person when I get in extremely tight areas. So my mind starts messing with me when I get in those situations. So I was already kind of freaking out a little bit, but I was trying to be calm. And obviously it was dark. I had my headlamp on, and I'm just kind of moving around, and I feel something um, go over my chest. Like I feel something move. So I kind of look down, shine my light, and there is this big snake just crawling right over my body. And I'm not a snake person, man. Like that freaked me out. Like even though I stood still or I didn't move, so it would just, keep moving on. I didn't want to scare it or do anything. I had no idea what the hell it was going to do. But to be honest with you, I got the hell out of that crawl space. I did not fix the supply vent. Um, I just told the customer that I wasn't able to get to it. It was too tight. But man, that to me, that was the craziest service call that I've ever seen. So, dude, HVAC vlogger, pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Hell yes. Pineapple all the time, dude. I love pineapple on pizza. No doubt about it. Um, yeah, so you guys are doing new buildings, VRVs. I'm seeing a lot of VRVs in the Nashville, like downtown area, all these bigger buildings. I think it's becoming quite popular, which is pretty cool. I like new technology. We're getting calls, but health surveys every day. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a very strange time, man. Very, very strange. I mean, I'm having customers where we can't get the AC turned on right away. Whether it is we got to order a part or something of that nature. So we can get a temp AC unit in here for you, a little spot cooler, and they're like, nope, we don't want it. We don't want anything foreign coming into the house. This is crazy stuff to deal with, man. Super crazy. Uh, no, Martin says, what do you think about joining the union? Um, I am not a union person. I actually was in the union for a very, very short time when I worked for a bigger company. So the mechanics were all union. So in order for me to work there, I had to be in the union. And luckily for me, it was a right, I guess what they call a right to work state. So I didn't, I could opt out of like going to the meetings and paying my dues and all that stuff. But, um, you know, obviously there's some cool stuff to union. I don't know that much about it to, um, to say, hey, union's not good or it is good. I mean, I think it's a personal preference. I think there's a lot of cool things about it, but it didn't work for me. So, but I wasn't really trying to be a mechanic for super long at that point anyway. I was trying to get into the controls department, and the controls department was all non-union, so it didn't matter anyway. But um, yeah, a lot of thumbs down. I'm sure. Yeah, there's a lot of union guys out there for sure. Um, Wild West HVAC says we just finished a custom house, installed 9 VRF systems. Wow, that's awesome. So when you're dealing with these VRF systems, is this something where um, are you designing all the piping yourself, or are you having a salesman through whatever brand? Is it like a computer software that's designing the piping system? That's what I've been familiar with is all the elbows, all the Ys, or all the fittings, everything you have to use. Um, is that all being populated and calculated through a software program? Sterling's Archer said you were going to subscribe, and then until I said I liked pineapple on pizza. Hey man, you got to do what you got to do, brother. But pineapple, that's my jam. I love some pineapple. Yeah, talking about the union again. Benjamin, you said there's no union in your area. Like I honestly, I didn't. I worked for two different companies prior to working for the company that had union employees. I knew nothing about it. I mean, I was completely oblivious to what union was because I just wasn't exposed to it. And then when I got working for that company, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to join the union," and I'm like, "Oh well, that's crazy." And then I started learning more about the union guys and what they stand for. It was pretty cool. I mean, it was a brotherhood for sure. Doing all that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess since I wasn't quite used to it, and I didn't have like a backlog of being in the union, I just didn't care for it. Man, yeah, guys, it's been an hour, almost an hour and 20 minutes. I'm probably going to wrap this up. I'm getting a little tired. I am an early sleeper. I get up early in the mornings, but I go to bed early as well. So, oh yeah. So Wild West HVAC says yes. Samsung had to give me an exact refrigerant amount for the length pipe that we installed. Yep. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that way things are getting done right. There's no the installers should know how to do these things, but I think when you're starting to deal with nothing but refrigeration, having computer software to fine tune all that stuff and make sure all of the amount of refrigerant that you're using, the length of the piping, all of that, it's so important. I mean, why not, right? Fernando says, what advice do you have for someone that is a tech but wants to be a control tech? I would first ask, do you have that opportunity within the business or the company that you're in currently, or is this something you would have to jump ship and go somewhere else? So first, I would find out where the opportunity is, and then start talking to whoever hires the control technicians. So, if you have to go somewhere else, um, go figure out who that person is. Go to their, if it's Train or Siemens or Johnson Controls or whoever it is, go there and start talking to people, start networking, and then luckily for me, whenever I made that transition, the company I was working for had that division. So they already knew who I was. They knew my work ethic. They knew what I was about. They knew my drive. So it wasn't like super difficult for me to like reach out and try to figure all that out. It was just me kind of pushing them, saying, "Hey, let me in there. Let me in there." So, and eventually, it worked out. Yeah. So, I want to close this out with First of all, I'm extremely grateful for all of you guys. Um, all the love that you've been given, all the comments, the feedback, all of it. And, I want you guys to make sure you're being safe out there. I know you guys probably heard this and you hear it all the time, but don't take it lightly. I mean, it's super important that you guys get home the way you left the house. I mean, whether, you got a family, I'm sure everybody has a family of some sort on some level, or if it's just yourself, man, take care of yourself. It's super important. So again, I love all you guys. Thanks so much for everything. And if you guys have any questions that I didn't get to, I apologize, but you can email me at zac@qualitycomfort.biz. That's B-I-Z. So again, thanks guys. And I will be dropping the video that was supposed to be this week, and I just didn't have enough time to get it all edited out. But I made a unit dolly, and I want to show you guys my process and how I made it. So if you're interested in making one yourself, I'm going to give you a cut list, and I'm going to show you how I make it. So I think they're pretty handy, especially if you guys are doing installs. Obviously, that's what you need them for. So be looking out for that. It'll be hitting, probably Thursday or Friday of next week. So again, thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.